Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia summary for day 19 of the Ukraine conflict with Russia or Russia's special operation. So let's start off with Kiev. There's report that the Russians are attacking the west of Irpin. So the Russians did not take Irpin yet. They actually took Bucha. So if you have saw the alleged New York Times journalist being killed, they say it's by the Ukrainians say it's by two Russian servicemen. I mean, you can draw your own conclusions if how true is that. Of course, that it's a war zone. Anyone dies. So to me, I don't really think it's very important. So moving on, no other changes most in the north. There's not much action. The Russian didn't make any moves. We go to Izum. So earlier in the day, there is this alleged breakthrough by the Russian forces, and they allegedly some of the Russian forces are already fighting on the east of Bavinkov. So it's here. So the distance from Izum all the way to Bavinkov is around 34 kilometers. It will be possible only if they travel down the road. If it down by the countryside, it's unlikely to be this far. But if the Ukrainian forces is routed, there is a possibility that it can actually come all the way here. However, there's no corroborating information as of yet. At least I haven't seen the 9 a.m. report by Russia yet. So we can just leave the question mark here for now. So if the breakthrough is true, then this force of Ukrainian forces the south of Izum will be in doubt. So they might not be there. As of I understand, the Russians has not claimed victory over Izum yet. So we cannot confirm that they have taken Izum entirely. Later, before I went to sleep, I saw this. There's fighting reported between the area of Yeremivka and Studenok. So in that one post, they say that this is the start of battle of Sloviansk, which is actually Sloviansk in Ukrainian. So they say the artillery is working, the bridge is blown up, and then they start the operation to liberate Sloviansk, and then so they hear the sound of battle at Bogorodishnoye, which is actually in Ukrainian is Bohorodishne. So they say it's 15 kilometers from Slaviansk and everything. So the Ukrainians blew up the bridge, and then they also reported that the battle between Yeremovka and Studenka, which is actually Yeremivka and Studenok. So that's why this icon is here. There's no icon in here because they only hear the sound of battle. There's probably explosions. So it could be this bridge is blown up. There could be some artillery strikes into this area, but there's no corroborating information on this. This is just a one posting. So and the Russians don't seem to like to report on anything that's happening out of Donbass. They usually report mostly only on the Donbass battlefront. They don't talk much about Kiev or other areas or down at Mykolaiv. So so usually all this information I have to catch from all the chatters. Usually they are all one-liners, or sometimes it might be a video, or it might be a photo that they have this caption of fighting in certain areas, and that gives me a glimpse that they are fighting in that area. So let's moving on to Severodonetsk. The Russian Defense Ministry mentioned they are now fighting in the northeastern outskirts of Severodonetsk. On some, of course, they are also fighting on Robizne. For some context in the battle situation is that the Russians had they call it blockade, or I will use the word surrounded the city on the east the east side and the south side. So how extent is the south is unknown. I'm not sure how south is their south, and I'm not sure where is that the meaning of south. So is the south here or the south here? There's no indication. They also never talk about, there's no indication or any chatters about them taking the airport, nor the town of Voronov, nor Metokin. So we have, it is another very vague situation, just like Mariupol for a lot of the situation. So this city is not as big, at least this part of the city is not as big as Mariupol from my sensing. So let's see. I think it's not as big as Mariupol. I think Mariupol, oops. Oh, actually, sorry, it's actually as big as Mariupol. So so this is going to be a hard fight. For some context as well, this is the final twin city. This is the final stronghold within Luhansk that the Luhansk forces as the Russian forces will want to take. Once they took this place, this entire line will collapse, and then effectively Luhansk will be fully liberated by the Russian forces. So this is a very big battle. So for sure, the Russian and the Luhansk forces, the militias and the mobilized troops will definitely go on street-to-street fighting to take out the entire city, to clear it out, just like what they did at Vonovodka or Vonovaha. So we will likely to see the battle get more and more intense in this area for the next, my guess is 2 weeks, because this will take probably 2 weeks already. This is going to take another 2 weeks at fastest. I don't think it can get any faster than 2 weeks unless they rout the Ukrainian forces. That means they freak out and then they try to run. But if they run, they will likely get taken out by helicopters and air support aircraft. So unless they surrender, that could be a way. But whether they will surrender really depends a lot on the political situation. If they see that the Ukrainian leadership is weak, and then they will, like, the chances of surrendering is much higher. If not, they're likely to fight to the end as much as they can, much like in Mariupol. But even in Vonovaha, the Ukrainians hold up for a very long time, but they actually retreated. They did not fight to the end. I believe they retreated because they ran out of fuel. Not sure if they ran out of ammunition, but they ran out of fuel. So they left a lot of vehicles, armored vehicles and tanks behind. So that indicates they ran out of lubricants and fuel, which renders their equipment unusable. That's why they are running away. So moving down to Donetsk, the Russian broke through the defense line previously around this line, and then we have this punch through to Vodian, which I cannot verify if that's the place, because the name of the location seems to be off. Like the name is actually not exactly correct, and that name does not exist around anywhere here. So, but we have confirmation yesterday that the Russian forces have taken even more ground on this eastern flank of Velika Novosilka, and then they took Slavne, Taramchuk, Stepny, Soloke, and Vodian. So if you go to the map at defensepoliticsasia.com/Ukraine, you'll be able to see this map. You can actually play around with it yourself, and you can see what is the original source. You realize the name is actually different. These are all Russian name of these locations. All these, I believe the name of the locations has all been changed, probably from the time of the Euromaidan presidential coup. So I believe that's the cause why there is this difference in the naming. Maybe the Donetsk forces name it the original name, and then the Ukrainians just want to use the new name to get away from Russian, because uh, for some political context, since the overthrow of Yanukovych, they enacted a law banning Russian language as any form of state or regional official language. The only language they recognize is Ukrainian. So in this negotiation with the Russians demanded this law to be repealed, and then allow Russian to be seen as official language in the country where it's relevant. So mostly in the southern and eastern part of Ukraine. So this is one of the expectations from the Russian for the peace negotiation. So let's go, before we go to Mariupol, let's go down to Mykolaiv. There is no information, there's no movement. The Russians are keeping quiet. This part of the Novovorontsovska, totally no news. Not sure what happened here. There are some chatters from the Ukrainians. They reportedly killed or arrested some mercenaries from the Wagner group, or the Wagner group, somewhere around Andreevka, I believe. I'm not sure. Somewhere around here, south of Kiev. They arrested these mercenaries. However, because firstly, they are not exactly considered combatant, they are not military, and second, I cannot corroborate such information, and I'm not sure what to make of it, because I don't think mercenaries can hold ground or take grounds as part of like the proper military. I'm not sure what to do with the information, and then I cannot verify the information because I also cannot recognize the people. Like, how do you know they are Wagner group? But in this summary, I want to tell you that happened, and the Ukrainians are very happy about it. So south of Kiev is around here. I forgot which town already. So that's what happened. So going to Mariupol, in terms of better situation, the only thing that we know is that the Russians have taken the entire perimeter of Mariupol, which I have not indicated on the map because I'm not sure how extensive is that perimeter. Mainly is the suburbs and the residential areas, and then they actually sent in the Spetsnaz to clear out all these Ukrainian positions along the perimeter that had been blocking humanitarian corridors, according to the Russians, not according to me, according to the Russians. And because they were successful in this operation to clear out the perimeter of all the firing and Ukrainian positions, they were able to do a mass evacuation exercise. So according to the defense ministry, the Spetsnaz eliminated the main forces of the Ukrainian positions, and then after that they sent a convoy of cars first. So these cars actually bring in all the emergency humanitarian aids like medicine, basic necessities like food and baby food. So the first car convoy, I think, because maybe that is the most convenient and fastest thing they can do, so they send in all these humanitarian aids, because the people there probably have gone hungry and thirsty for some days already, especially children and baby. That's why they brought in all these things first. And then, but at the time of this report from the defense ministry, 50 buses have already arrived in Mariupol, in a total of 200 buses to be sent to evacuate the needy and injured residents. So I believe they are prioritizing those that are weaker first. There's also another information where announced by the Berdyansk City Council that 160 civilian cars have reportedly left Mariupol for Berdyansk. So Berdyansk is actually the coastal city here. So it's not entirely clear the main bulk of the humanitarian evacuation is it on the west side, or is it on the east side, or is it actually multi-pronged? So my guess is actually multi-pronged, maybe from 4 different directions. That's why they have 4 columns of 50 bars each. So maybe one in the west, one in the north, northwest, one in the north, one in the east. It could be this. And just now, just before I start the recording, I saw this information from the from the sources that in from 14 to 15, so they say 78 people, including 6 children, were evacuated from Mariupol to Benzimenoye. So Benzimenoye in Ukrainian is actually this place, Benzimene. Then in addition, 5 people evacuated to Banovha. So they are at the point of assistance to the evacuated population, which is deployed by the forces of the Ministry of Emergency Situation in the DPR. So in total, from 5 to 15, 1,005 people were evacuated to this place, Menzimene. And the headquarters of the territorial defense of DPR tell people not to clash with the Ukrainian forces. So this is kind of awkward because it's only 78 and we have sent 200 buses. So I'm not too sure, but this is actually just one source. So I will probably update this information later once I get more information. 200 buses for 78 people to this place only sounds a bit little. So I will get more once I get more information. I'll update, but this is just something I saw. I want to share. And there's also one more information here. The Russian Navy captured the Ukrainian vessels that was left behind by the Ukrainian Navy sailors. So what happens is that they left the vessels totally undamaged, totally in working conditions, and they are full of food and ammunition. And they seem to left this area so quickly that they left even food half eaten, according to one of the source. So not sure about that. They actually get even military IDs and passports. So it's kind of crazy. And the Russians also mentioned that there's no mines being mined at this port here. So no idea what's happening. So the Russians basically captured more than a dozen ships and boats. So many of these are just those gunboats or missile boats. So this is just one information about that. Otherwise, the other thing is to add is that the Russians mentioned that all the captured Ukrainian and Western vehicles and weapons, and apparently the amount of these vehicles and weapons seems to be very massive. The weapons include NLAW and Stingers and javelins, this kind of weapons, and also all the tanks and armored vehicles, which the Russian forces will not use because they are using a different standard. They are using a more advanced version, so they are going to donate it all to the DPR and LPR forces. So that's what was mentioned. So this is the summary for day 19 of the conflict, and I'll see you in the next update. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.